Hello everyone, this is the Adafruit CircuitPython Weekly for May 7th, 2018. I'm Scott and I work for Adafruit on the open source project CircuitPython. CircuitPython is an easy, beginner-friendly version of Python that runs on small, inexpensive computers known as microcontrollers. This meeting happens every week with a caveat that we're not having one next week. And it's a chance for community members within CircuitPython and the core developers to all get together and talk about what's going on in the community, what's going on in the code, and coordinating on our end. So this meeting is structured into 4 separate sections. The first section is called State of CircuitPython, where I'll quickly go over statistics and kind of where we're at on CircuitPython. And then we'll follow that with hug reports, where we'll go one by one through the list of the folks in the voice chat. If you want to join in live and you're watching this pre-recorded, you can join our Discord anytime during the week to chat with us by going to the URL adafru.it/discord. Monday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, we do have this voice chat where people can join in and let us know what's going on. So that's how you do that. The recorded versions are pinned in the text channel, along with any cancellations or moves of the meeting are also in the text channel pins. And the videos are also available on YouTube for your perusal. There's also time-coded notes, and so in advance, sorry for the keyboard sounds, but that's me taking notes during the show. So that was a distraction, but we do hug reports, which is a chance to thank everybody for the work that they've done over the last week or two. After that, we do status updates, which is briefly like how things are going on your project, what you like, what you didn't like, or what core dev work you're doing. And then after status updates, we'll have one kind of final section where we can discuss more things in detail. We call it the discussion section, or in the weeds. The idea being that it's the most nitty-gritty stuff that you may not want to listen to. The more important stuff should be at the beginning. Okay, so I'll take a time code here and get on to State of CircuitPython. We have an automated script that I run. I pulled these numbers last night, and they cover over Summersoft says, what? I'm here just for the keyboard sounds. So you'll hear more later when I take notes. I ran the numbers last night. This covers both the core CircuitPython repo and the libraries and the newsletter. So in the last week, as of last night, we had 20 different pull requests merged from 5 different authors. Shout out particular to Jeff Epler, Jerry Needell, and Dean for those. And then we had 5 reviewers on those as well. We have 1 new PR in the last week that's still open. That's from Jerry. In terms of issues, we closed 7 issues, 3 people did, and 9 were opened by 7 people. So we're up a few issues, but that's fine. It's all good. We have 3 open pull requests, 2 in the core repo and 1 in the Laura repo. We have 132 open issues. The bulk of those are also in the core repo. Again, if you want to actually see what all these are, you can check out the notes. Download stats, 2.3.0 came out on Friday, so that's the latest stable release that Dan did, and it has 218 total downloads. I think it was Friday, and the bulk of those are Circuit Playground Express at 71, Feather M0 Express 29, Trinket M0 26. Everything else is fewer than that. Unstable release is 3.0 Alpha 6. We're super close to beta. And that is also, the bulk is Metro M4 Express, followed by Circuit Playground Express, Trinket M0, and that's 172 total downloads for that. In general, we're on the brink of going from alpha to beta. Beta is the point where any code that you've written for 2x should work on 3x or have a similar or an API that you can move towards. There's a few API changes between 2 and 3, but the idea is that any project that you've done in 2x, you should be able to do in 3x once we're in beta. The only thing that we don't have so far is the touch IO stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. This week will be a little weird because Dan Catney and I are headed to PyCon. So if you're going to be at PyCon, ping us on Discord. We'd love to meet up with you. But those of you who are not going to be able to make it to PyCon, you may see that our activity is different than normal because of that. So yeah, that is the state of CircuitPython. I'm going to move on to Hug Reports. Hug Reports is a chance for folks to say thank you to people, the work that they've done since our last meeting. And I'll start, and then Andon will follow me. If you don't have a mic, feel free to just type in the chat, and I will read it out. If you're just lurking, like I think SDW is, that's fine too. I'll just skip over you. So for myself, I wanted to first give a shout out to C. Rodfeld and Dan Halbert for flash corruption debugging and fix. That's been a long-standing issue where, especially if you're running a circuit playground on batteries, you can end up killing your flash file system, which is no fun. So thanks to C. Rodfeld, that came up again, and Dan managed to figure out a mitigation for it so it happens less than it did. I wanted to shout out to Lars KS for a number of small ESP8266 fixes, which are super helpful. Thanks again to Mr. McWethy and Jay Epler for help with the ustruct/struct backwards compatibility changes that happened. Struct is a built-in in CPython, but MicroPython had renamed it to ustruct, so we've migrated it back more towards what CPython does and renamed it back to struct. So all our drivers had to be able to import both. So that work is done. And Mr. McWethy added the AdaBot check for it as well. So if we do end up adding it later, we'll find it again. And lastly, I wanted to thank Jerry Needell for the RFM 9X LoRa driver improvements and debugging with 3X. So thank you to that. We'll do Andon. Do you have anything? Andon is typing. While Andon is typing, I'm going to skip ahead and I'll do Stefan as well, who just posted. The recording of this is actually a video recording, so if you feel like you're missing out on part of it, I try to read everything that I see in the text chat, but you can look at that as well. So Stefan says, Hug reports to all the unsung heroes who bothered to document the edge cases of every possible version and project configuration. The open source nonlinear video editors Flowblade and latterly KDN Live, as well as everything I've had to fix this week. Did I mention I hate Android phones? Well, you have now, and good luck. So thank you, Stefan. Andon says, group hug as always because everyone's awesome. Also to Summersoft for hopping in and helping someone debug Arduino stuff last night. So thank you, Andon. AT McLean, it looks like you don't have a mic or headphones, so I'm going to skip over you. I guess I don't need to put that. Carter.
Just a group hug this week.
Awesome. Hug, and we did Stefan already, so C. Grover.
Yeah, besides a group hug, I want to recognize the team that fixed the Circuit Playground power boot up issue. That was great.
Awesome. Go ahead, Dan. Just type in.
I want to say, also echo Scott's thanks to C. Rodfeld for being able to consistently break the file system. That was really helpful for testing the file system. But again, also thanks to Jerry, who reliably breaks things that we do. So he was able to point out a bug in 2.3.0 regression in which you couldn't actually change the file system permission in boot.py. So there's going to be a 2.3.1 release soon that will fix that.
Awesome. I hope you're enjoying the keyboard sounds, everyone. now that we're going. All right, Jerry.
That's group hug, and special thanks to Dan for the support last night, trying to figure out what's going on with the file system stuff. So.
Awesome. Okay, Katney.
Definite hug report for Dan for fixing the Circuit Playground file system thing. I built a badge for a conference or convention that I was at this weekend using a Circuit Playground and needing to switch out batteries, and I know I would have blasted the file system at some point during the weekend if that hadn't been fixed. And group hug to everyone for being amazing.
Okay. I just typed group huge. All right, Summersoft. STW, if you have anything, feel free to jump it in the chat. Summersoft has a big old group hug this week. Awesome. All right. Great work, everybody. That was quick. AT McLean, feel free to type in chat if you want to be called on, or let me know if you're just looking. But welcome either way. Okay, this next section is status update. This is a more agile software style thing where we all just give a few sentences about what we worked on in the last week and a few sentences about what we're doing in the coming week. Stefan is ahead of the game. I'll start with Stefan. I usually start, but Stefan just typed it in, so we'll do that right now. So Stefan says, been digging through the PS2 mechanical keyboards in the workshop's collection of recycled hardware. Dell AP102W with ALP switches might be coming your way next week. Ooh, for the keyboard sounds. That sounds amazing. I've been going to Goodwill to find old gaming systems, and whenever I see the keyboards, I'm like, I push them just to see what kind of keys they have. Okay, I'll do my status update, and we'll go around. So I got PDM checked in last week, which was the last bit of the audio API. I've got a request from Phil and Lamore to do play and pause for audio as well. So the idea being that you can pause and then resume in the spot that you paused. So I will be looking at that later today. It shouldn't be too hard, but I haven't quite decided how I want to add that to the API. So I'll be doing that. That'll be a new feature for 3x, which is exciting. Last few days I've been working on Touch.io in the SAMD51, which is not the easiest thing in the world because it's not well documented. But I'm making some progress there, and we'll hopefully have something to report maybe tomorrow, but more likely when I'm back in 2 weeks. Why am I gone? Well, I'm going to PyCon this week. I leave on Wednesday afternoon, so you won't see me on any of the show and tells or anything. But I will be in Cleveland Wednesday evening late, and then I'm going to try to sneak into the Education EDU Summit part of PyCon on Thursday, because Entol and Carol Willing, I think, both have talks there, and Josh, who does EDU blocks, is going to be there as well. So PyCon's going to be a lot of just meeting people and teaching them all about CircuitPython and trying to get them more involved. So that should be super exciting. PyCon itself runs, the talks are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and so we'll be there, and then we'll be running a sprint on Monday. So if you are in town and want to work on particularly 3.0 bugs, that's what Monday's going to be about. And then Dan Catney and I leave on Tuesday. I actually leave to go visit my grandma, so I'm still not working from my house until the next week. So I get back to Seattle on Saturday. So next week will be a bit weird for me. But I should be dropping in on Discord and keeping up with stuff. So I'll at least be doing reviews. That's me. let's move on. Andon, do you have anything? I think you can hear me. Status update. Not at all CircuitPython related, but I hit fully functional with the code for my digibadges. Onboard flash is working, and semi-dynamic loading of SD cards now works, along with a few bug fixes. Next up, I'm trying to cram a menu system into the last 11% of program space on the ATmega 328P, 3,366 bytes. So, still happy to hear about it, Andon. Thanks for posting. Carter.
Nothing new for me this week.
Okay. And I'll read Seffin's out. They just posted. Seffin says, status update, recording studio is built and automated with 4 cameras, Android phones for wide and macro, Kodak close-up, and X11 Grab FFmpeg desktop recordings, synchronized automatically through audio using handy Kden Live behavior, then edited through their handy multi-view editing interface, all at 720p. Is that too retro? No, I don't think so. 720p is great for mobile. Was just a bit easier since desktop pixels were bigger / readable and render / preview times were lesser. How important is 1080p for online videos? I don't think it's that important. I think 720p. I know Ask an Engineer was 720p for a long time. What's far more valuable is that, like you say, you can read everything, and I think it also makes it better for people on mobile as well. So I would say keep on rocking it. That sounds like the way to go. C. Grover.
Not a lot of CircuitPython this week, although I sent some PCBs off to my old fab house, and those PCBs are to support some CircuitPython projects. But I'm learning to use KiCad now while I wait for those to come back, because it's time to retire the old fab house and their pricing. So.
Oh yeah.
But KiCad is working out pretty good.
Are you using the nightly? What version are you using?
Yeah, I'm using version 5, and I don't remember what the code is on it, but it's within a few days.
Okay, that's perfect. I highly recommend using the latest version for sure. And if you have questions, feel free to ask, because I use it as well.
Appreciate that. It's a culture shock for this old timer.
Oh yeah, I've never used anything else, so I can't relate it to anything else. But
I've used a bunch of stuff, including Eagle, but it's the library thing that's a little bit confusing, and I'm starting to get that sorted out. Yeah, I used red and blue tape on 2X optical stuff back in the day, so I've spanned the gamut. I've even used a Sharpie.
Interesting. I don't actually know what that is. What is that?
Oh, the Sharpie? It's a black pen that you use to write on copper.
I know what a Sharpie is. I don't know what it has to do. So are you saying you actually designed your own PCBs by just masking it yourself?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to use a Sharpie or just tape, and even electrical tape will work, and then have my own ferric chloride and use that.
Awesome. Well, yeah.
But when I went professional, did the fabrication stuff, that's when we used red and blue tape on white vellum, and we did it 2x, 2 times the size of the printed circuit board. And then we shot that, created a negative, exposed the, and then went on from there. It's photographically done.
Wow. OSPark and KiCad are slightly different.
Yeah, I'm learning that too.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for making it. Dan.
So we did the battery power fix, and then mostly since then I've been working on trying to get the cache to work properly with USPI in the 3.0 version, because they kind of conflict with each other. So we have to either turn off the cache when we're doing QSBI, or maybe some other possibilities. And Jeff Epler has been very helpful in suggesting maybe look at the memory processing, the memory protection unit, which is something that's integrated into the CPU, and we'll see if that actually helps or not.
Awesome.
Okay.
And you're going to PyCon.
Yes, I'm going to be at PyCon on Thursday evening. I'm flying like Thursday afternoon. I'm around there at 7 something.
Okay.
On Thursday.
Awesome. And Jay Epler says in the chat that they're not really here. But previously, earlier in the day, you sent a status update, so I'll read that here. Jeff says, there's a lot going on this morning. I can't make it to the weekly meeting, blah, blah, blah. This weekend was mostly spent finding using AFL fuzz, fixing and reporting crashing bugs in UZlib to upstream. CircuitPython and MicroPython incorporate UZlib by copy, not by submodule, so I plan to prepare CircuitPython and MicroPython pull requests with my fixes this week as well. Besides that, I will pick off issues blocking CircuitPython 3.0 according to my time and ability. Sounds really good. And we did have some discussion about maybe forking UZlib so that we can do it as a submodule, not as a copy as well. So thank you, Jeff. Jerry.
Yeah, all my time in this week was in playing with the LoRa and trying to understand how that was or wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I got it now, and I'll take a look, and if you have questions, let me know. One thing I ended up doing on it was lowering the default SPI rate because it was having trouble being pretty flaky at the 10 megahertz level. So it seems to be a lot more stable, a little bit lower.
Mm.
And given the small packet sizes, I'm not sure anybody's really going to care, but you can crank it up yourself if you want to. But
Right. Yeah, I looked at the pull request last night, and I got back to you. So.
Yeah, and I commented on things. One thing I want to talk. You can read it. We can discuss. There's one.
Okay.
One. I think either it's not clear what it's trying to do, or see what you want to do.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's been a good experience. And I learned there's some issues with the RFM69 library as well that I probably should transfer over.
Okay.
The most important one is that the frequency control actually doesn't work at all in the RFM69 or in the original one. It just wasn't setting the frequency, so it was always going to a default value. So if anyone's trying to change the frequency, it does need to be updated, but most likely they're not. So that should be okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for all that, Jerry. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Kattni.
So, I had a convention this weekend that I did a workshop for using Circuit Playground Express, and that went pretty well. Beforehand, I actually ended up building Sophie's badge and writing a whole CircuitPython program to work on it, since her project uses MakeCode. Last week, I finished up 2 more plotter guides. They both need video, and John Park is working on that. So once those videos are done, each of those pages will be posted. For the next week, I will be doing another plotter page. I am doing a guide using Gemma because we are sponsoring Gemma, or we're sponsoring PyCon, and in all the swag bags is a PyCon special Gemma. So we wanted to do a quick project. It's just going to be a project that uses the touch interface to use the lights, so that you could attach that to your badge or your bag or something like that. It's just a quick project, like, hey, you have this new Gemma, what can you do with it? And as well, I will be prepping all of the hardware that we're taking to PyCon. We're planning on doing open spaces while we're there, and we want to be able to show people like 3 different things that they can do. And one of the things is going to be using NeoPixel rings. So I will be prepping all that stuff before I leave, and I will be leaving for PyCon at some point on Thursday.
Awesome.
All of that will be crammed into this week.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. All right, Mike.
I just want to thank everybody who's been submitting suggestions and pull requests. It's part of the lifeblood of the project, not just Adafruit dictating what they want to do, but you guys actually getting some hands-on and feedback to us. It's a blessing, and thank you for doing it.
Awesome. Do you have any status update as well?
Not today. I haven't been doing as much Python. I just want to make sure you guys know the newsletter's going to come out. You mentioned things, and then yeah, next week you guys won't be here, and I'm not going to do the chat by myself.
All right. But I do plan on doing the newsletter next week.
Correct. Yeah, we have the newsletter, but we don't have this chat.
Correct. All right. And last but not least, we have Summersoft, who already is ahead of the game as usual, and I will read it. It says, Atmel Studio debugging guide is drafted, needs review, awaiting feedback. Are you waiting for feedback from somebody in particular? Because we could ping them. In terms of the high frequency pulse in, started framework for SAMD timer/counter capture. Pulse.io.frequency in is my working title. Will only focus on frequency, not planning to include PWM capture. Should be portable to at least NRF 52840, if not both NRFs, ESP-XX, probably not. Awesome. That would be handy. Okay, the link to the guide was posted in the Learn Adafruit Authors channel last night, so if anybody wants to take a look at that, that's where you can find it. I think that who was he? There was somebody else who was, I think it was, you could ping Mr. Certainly, and I think he wanted to use Atmel Studio, so maybe ping him and see if he's willing to take a look at it for you. All right, well, that is status updates. Thank you everybody for that quick round robin. The final section of this meeting that we have is the discussion / in the weeds. Anybody have stuff? Jerry, did you have anything?
Well, just let's see. I'm just trying to think. I talked to Dan a bunch this morning about SPI stuff, but I think, and I'm curious if anybody else has run into anything with it. And that is, I found when I was working with this RFM9X radio that if I left the baud rate at 10 megahertz, that the system would hang. And occasionally, it worked for a while, and it worked for a couple of transmissions, and then eventually it would just hang on receiving a packet. When I was trying to track it down to the line, I was trying to pull the packet out of the FIFO. And about one time out of 10, or maybe even more frequently than that, when it would do that, I would also end up with the file system being corrupted.
Huh.
And I'd have to reload the file system. So I don't know if the two are related. I don't know if it's just because, so it's something to watch for.
Okay.
Again, once I lowered the baud rate, that problem all went away in terms of that part. So I don't know. It's just something to keep an eye on. I can't not have a good reproducible example of it, so I'm not going to put on it yet.
Right.
Figure out.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, if anybody else is playing with the radio things, let me know, because I did find a lot of little issues. I think I got them all straightened out, and I reorganized it to be follow a lot more like the Arduino configurations.
Okay.
But there are a lot of registers and a lot of little details, most of which don't seem to actually make a whole lot of difference.
Right.
But I ended up changing a lot of things when it turns out was actually the baud rate was probably the biggest problem. And well, the frequency and power settings were just, the frequency was way off, so the power was really down. That's because it was trying to transmit way off frequency.
Right. Well, so, great work on that. I have actually had a chance to play with that myself, so I appreciate it.
The thing took a lot of time was trying to get it so that a CircuitPython unit could talk to an Arduino unit.
Right.
That was really a problem because they were really configuring differently, and that's finally working out. So again, if anyone's using them, let me know how it goes.
Perfect. Okay. Anybody else have stuff they want to talk about? Or will this be a fast meeting? Stefan links to let me take a time code. Puzzle around junk on input of UART of Node MCU, which is an ESP8285. Not the usual junk coming from the output pin unless it can feed back somehow. Sometimes they do have a loop back ability, but I've not used ESP stuff at all, or very little, so that chip in particular I've never used. I'll copy the link to the forum as well. So if that rings a bell for anyone, there's a link in the notes to MicroPython forum post. Summersoft asks, for the sprint, will Discord be live? I think for the sprint, I mean, we'll be on our computers and we'll probably have Discord open, but I didn't think of a way that we could have it like displayed on the wall or anything. And that will also depend on our connectivity, like via the conference Wi-Fi. So it might be more worthwhile actually if Summersoft, if you were looking at taking a day off to do sprinting, maybe we should actually plan a digital sprint day. And that could be on the weekend too, so you don't actually have to take time off. Like I don't usually work the weekends, but if we wanted to say like this Sunday from this time to this time, we're just going to get together and sprint on stuff, like that's totally cool to me. If people...
We can do audio chat for it.
Yeah. Anybody have opinions on that?
That could be great. I mean, Summersoft, if you want to, you know, even take like half a day or something, I mean, we will be around on Monday, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be hammering on 3.0. That's the plan.
Yeah. For me personally, though, it's likely that I'll be helping other people hammer on it rather than doing it myself.
Right. So if we did want to do the idea of doing a digital sprint sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
And that might be better because then we are. I mean, you may still be helping people, Scott, but
right.
It's that means that, you know, for those of you who are remote, we could try and schedule a time that works for more people and then just have a day that's what we're doing. And really, it would be no different for you guys. It would just mean we might have more time for you instead of the fact that we will be, you know, putting a lot of time into the people that are there.
Yeah, I really like that idea. And that's something we could do like every other month or something. Like we could come up with a regular schedule of like one weekend afternoon or something. Every so often.
Or depending on time zones, even an evening.
Right.
But we can figure that out. Or we could even do it every other one at different times if there's different time zones that work for people.
Yeah.
But we can figure that out.
Yeah, probably best to start as a one-off and then go from there.
Yes, that is exactly what I was going to say.
Folks are typing. All right. Well, in terms of PyCon, like, yeah, Somersault digs the idea of a digital sprint. PyCon talks are Friday through Sunday, and they post the videos like that evening of. So although I don't know of a live stream, the talks tend to get posted right after. So I suggest anybody who's wishing they were there but are not there, or I'll be there but I won't be going to the talks. In the evening, it's really nice to be able to just like watch one or two and have that experience as it's going on. So I recommend people keep an eye on that, and we'll be able to coordinate through Discord as well. So we'll try to post neat stuff. I know Carol's got a talk at some point, which I think she does talk about CircuitPython and how we use read the docs and stuff. So I'm really curious about that, and that's one I'll make sure and go. I'll either go see or I'll at least talk to her about. So that'll be cool. All right. Well, with that, thank you everybody for making the time to join this weekly meeting. Let me reiterate the fact that next week, because we'll be doing the sprint, we are not going to have the voice meeting. So the next meeting we'll just skip next week. So we'll do the 21st. Will be our next meeting. And the meeting happens almost every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on our Discord. Discord is a chat service, kind of like Slack, kind of like Gitter. You can join our particular server, our space on Discord by going to adafru.it/discord. That domain is the Adafruit URL shortener, if you didn't know. And that will get you the invite. Yeah, totally. Stefan says, thanks for being so open to sharing your weekly Discord touchpoint. It means a lot to me working on my own here in Blighty. Yeah, totally. This is one way that we want to encourage people to participate and be open about it all. So Stefan and everyone else, we're happy to have you. I think I said everything. So until 2 weeks from now, maybe we'll see a few of you at PyCon. Otherwise, we'll just keep talking with y'all on Discord. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you later.
Everyone.
Yep, later. Have fun at PyCon.
Thank you.